I would like to thank our platinum sponsor, Mr. Srinivasan Sundarajan from Gavs Technology. Actually, the role of corporate partners is extremely critical. They bring not only the technical expertise but also the global connects, and they are actually a very critical player when it comes to helping support the innovation ecosystem. Mr. Srinivasan holds a master degree in computer applications from Madras University, and he has been in the technology industry for the last 28 years. He has been continuously utilizing the emerging technologies for business capabilities, and he is a very strong technology innovator uh, who has also created a patent pending healthcare master database management framework, which combines the best of multi-model database with the power of blockchain in providing the patient insights and electronic health record interoperability while ensuring that the patient consent rights are protected. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Srinivasan to present his keynote address. Mr. Srinivasan,
Yes, sir. Thank you
you
very
can switch on
much.
your video also.
Sure. It says it has been stopped by the host. Can
Okay.
can
Yeah.
someone? Yeah, one
Please start
second.
now.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. So thanks NASCOM and all the eminent speakers before me, especially from the industry, as well as from the government and the hospitals. Really thanks for giving all the inputs. So let me just share my screen to start my session. So what I am going to being a short session. So I just want to touch upon on the few important services that are provided out of the box by various cloud providers, which healthcare industry can adapt without actually spending a lot of time on the research and development. Because while we wanted to embrace the AI and new technologies into our day-to-day working in the healthcare, one of the biggest challenges is the time and the effort involved. So how quickly we can adopt these services is the theme of my presentation. Let me just share my screen. Please let me know once you are seeing my screen. Can I proceed? Are you seeing my screen? So the topic of my presentation is about the democratization of AI in healthcare. So as you would have seen, correct, a lot of startups have been part of this journey, this session, as well as they will continue to there. From the startups to very large companies like Siemens and Wipro, everybody is involved in various stages of the healthcare transformation. But at the same time, correct, there are also a lot of hospitals, like Rajiv Gandhi's hospital and other things. They also wanted to put new services onto healthcare by using the power of the AI. But whether these services to be enabled has to be only dependent on the specialty players, or can every organization can do something on their own with the limited resources they may have. So that is all about the democratization of AI. So as mentioned, the democratization of AI is to use the out-of-the-box services mainly enabled by these cloud providers like Microsoft, Google, and AWS, so that some of the time to market of bringing AI into our healthcare transformation can be fast and I have created some examples of these democratized AI services which these healthcare companies can use it. And as an example, I have used the Microsoft ecosystem as a reference, but it doesn't mean that they are the only one. You could definitely find it in the market that various players are providing an equivalent services. So let me try with a few services from this perspective. The most important thing, what I believe in the healthcare transformation, is to empowering the doctors, correct? So today's doctors are no longer can sit in one place and then take care of their patient. They need to move fast. They need to be everywhere. They have to really utilize multimedia and other technologies to support their patients. But at the same time, correct, doctors cannot be bogged down with typing the materials as they visit multiple patients from bed to bed. So one of the important things, doctors have been used to writing, correct? Doctors always used to write. But can this writing of the doctors integrated with the main EHR and the other ecosystem of the rest of the this thing? So one such important thing is where the more and more cloud providers and the device manufacturers have come up with what you known as an handwritten recognition. So So which means that, correct, we could make apps which will enable this handwritten recognition such that your core EHR platform can be integrated with the doctor's app, so that whatever doctor wanted to convey in his natural writing can be integrated with this and the meaning has been taken. So one of the examples is with the Windows Ink platform, which can be able to create with by universal applications, UWP and other things. We could create very powerful applications for doctors by providing the handwritten recognition. Okay, so second cognitive service I would like to introduce is the optical character recognition, or the OCR technologies. See, whereby the healthcare industry is still a bigger ecosystem, even though most of the specialized hospitals provide everything on their own, still certain laboratory report. For example, when I visited a patient recently in an hospital, the COVID has to be done by outside the hospital, the COVID test. And those reports have come as a PDF document from an external source. So this is just one example. Definitely, being practitioner, you would have seen a lot of examples of the lot of documents being PDF and other handwritten documents need to be integrated as part of the ecosystem. So that's where the the OCR enabled this thing, where when you talk to this technology, the AI has been used implicitly, but you don't need to know the exact algorithms and other thing. You could just use this out of the box service to integrate the various documents, digital documents as well as handwritten documents into your healthcare ecosystem, make a better patient 360 or a better picture about the patient. So this is one another service. One important service today, correct, people have been moving a lot, correct. So today people maybe from northern part of India may come to South India, or even from India they may move to USA. A lot of people move from Spanish speaking countries to USA. A lot of aged population are also there. While most of the doctors may be conversant with English, doesn't mean that the patients can also talk in English. This problem would be definitely be there in India also. So which means that, and also sometimes the patients may be in pain, and they may not be even able to talk when it is an accident or a certain situation. So which means that more and more AI has been introduced to understand the emotions of the patients. Okay, so this is another set of democratized APIs, whereby if we could effectively integrate emotion APIs into our healthcare application, a lot of understanding about the patient's pain, patient's reactions can be understood, even though we may not talk the same language of the patient, or we may not even need to talk to the patient. So that is another important democratized AI API which healthcare providers can consider. Another thing is, which is an extension of what I already talked. While the emotions can give certain basic information, whether the patient is in pain or in stress and other things, patient needs to communicate a lot of things, correct? Definitely in India, correct, we have so many languages and barriers, but telemedicine now has reduced the geographical barriers, which means that I could now get trained by a doctor in Delhi, and we may not speak the same language or something like that. So that way, the more and more the introduction of speech translation and auto translation APIs as part of your healthcare and patient interaction will make the whole patient experience much better and easier. And not only that, it will sometimes provide very vital information. Even as an educated person also, sometimes I could communicate certain things in my local language much better when it comes to the healthcare situation. So that will definitely another important thing. And the next thing is, correct, this has been again touched by a few other persons earlier. Now there is always a constraint in the hospitals, about what to even when the COVID vaccine rollout is happening, a lot of questions and doubts are there, which is most of the time is quite generic. Somebody can be trained to answer them quickly. But the more and more introduction of bots into the healthcare technology will help to reduce the burden of the physicians as well as nurses and healthcare staff in handling the requests. While we can't completely depend on bots, but bots can mostly help the first 75% of the interaction, and then leave the 25% to the specialist and make it experience much better. Another very, very important thing is that, correct, there will be tons of documentation about the healthcare. In the past, documentation has to be analyzed, and radiology notes and the other clinical notes have to be analyzed, and even for insurance purposes as well as for treatment purposes, somebody needs to understand pages and pages of documents. So the text analytics is going to play a major role in quickly understanding the patient's condition before even a doctor meet a patient. For example, a patient go for a telemedicine and provides a tons of document to the doctor, he can quickly use this technology like text analytics to get the extraction of the key factors and then get to know the patient and work better. So this is another one. This is a very important thing, reinforcement learning. While this could be a very difficult when it comes to machine learning, what is happening, the AI, the important aspect of the AI is the training data. What is the past results or the past usage of that data is very, very important. But unfortunately, for all situations, we don't have this kind of a past data, which means that you need to take a decision at that time. As the decision tree is getting built, the next time that better decision could be taken. That is all about reinforcement learning. And there also, correct, instead of knowing TensorFlow and all those very difficult APIs, we could actually use the wrappers around them like personalizer APIs to make it easier for us to experiment these services and make it better for our patient as well as the thing. Another thing is about anomaly detection, because most of the time when we talk about remote monitoring of the patient, you don't want to monitor the obvious condition. When a patient is healthy, you don't want to monitor him. You want to only monitor him for the exceptional condition where the vital parameters are giving something negative about it. So how do you get to the negative when there is a vast amount of data? That is what the anomaly detector, which is another AI technique. Again, a little bit of programming and expertise is involved. There also these wrappers of democratized API will get you to the quickly. So basically, if you I come to the end of it, if you really see this correct, various techniques of handwritten recognition, emotional APIs, anomaly detection, reinforcement learning, chatbots, everything makes your healthcare transformation much easier without having to spend a lot of resources. You could still get to the better care for your patients at a lower cost. So that is the my summary about how the democratization and of the AI can help the doctors as well as the patients towards the transformation of the healthcare. Thank you, NASCOM, for providing me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Srinivasan. It was really good to hear your address about the role of technology.
Sure.
So once again, thank you very much for your time and support.
Thank you,
Now,
sir.
I would like to acknowledge our silver sponsors, Medica Bazaar and SS Innovations. And I would like to play a short video from our silver sponsors.
India, one of the largest countries in the world and among the fastest growing economies, faces a huge challenge of coping with its growing medical needs. There are over 250,000 hospitals and medical centers spread in more than 200 cities and towns of India, and each one of them requires modern medical technology and supplies to treat their patients. The need is extremely large, and hospitals have to look for their supplies from various manufacturers for different needs and specialities. This is the reason of the genesis of Medica Bazaar. Medica Bazaar, the only single contact organization for medical equipment and supplies for hospitals in India. Medica Bazaar provides hospitals with the facility to be connected regularly on their portal and virtually manage inventory, stock requirements, and new equipment needs of hospitals. Our consultation service also helps doctors and commercial heads of hospitals in medical product discovery and brand choice decisions. We also bridge the gap in the distribution supply chain for medical product manufacturers. We aim to connect every medical equipment manufacturer of the world to every hospital in India with an aim to save more lives. Medica Bazaar, all that a patient needs, all that a doctor wants, and all that a hospital requires.
As far as Mantra is concerned, I have used in now 14 cases, and we plan to go around 20 cases maybe by next week. And I found that this is a good machine. I could use this robot for not only benign surgery, those we do very few, but the all the big surgery like radical cystectomy and nephrectomy and even partial nephrectomy. And I feel that as the company is pricing this robot in a really low down, which will help having this machine in all the centers who could not have robot technology because of the cost. That's the best thing with this machine, and I feel in future this will change the scene in robotic surgery, not only in India or Asia, but in all over the world.
These were our silver sponsors.